anniversary. Joining us now is Representative Bennie Thompson, Democrat from Mississippi. He serves as the chair of the Homeland Security Committee. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Where are we as far as Homeland Security 18 years after the fact?
Well, we've created an organization called the Department of Homeland Security in response to the acts of 9/11 18 years ago. We have some 250,000 full-time employees, over 200,000 contract employees keeping America safe. Congress has taken a full-throttle approach to making sure that, if at all possible, 9/11 type actions won't happen again.
When that full front approach, then, what are some of those details? What would you tell viewers as specifics on that?
Well, we've created, for instance, Transportation Security Administration. We have 450 airports around the United States. You can't get on a plane now without going through some type of screening because we've identified that as one vulnerability. We have now enhanced immigration customs enforcement so that individuals who try to come to this country illegally have to prove who they are. There's some conflict around it, but we have that office going. Customs Border Protection. We have a number of entities under the Department of Homeland Security purely for the protection of people here in the homeland. The beauty of it is we've now pushed it out far and wide around the world so that if an airplane is coming to the United States, that departure has to meet American standards. So we've done quite a bit.
Are there things then, even as you describe the things you've done, what are there things that still need to be focused on, things that can be improved on to improve the overall level of security?
Well, absolutely. You know, we still have vulnerabilities that I can't name that we're still closing the loop on. We are improving from a science and technology standpoint, making sure that our men and women who do this job every day have the best possible equipment. So we've invested significantly in that. We've put a lot of money in training. Training is important because part of the lesson from 9/11 is those brave first responders who responded, especially in New York, didn't have the ability to talk to each other. So we have invested billions of dollars into what's called interoperability, the ability for first responders to talk to each other. We make sure that training is there. We've created fusion centers, so federal, state, and local first responders have a place where they can meet regularly, see what's happening. We've enhanced our ability to respond to natural disasters, hurricanes, wildfires, tornadoes, floods. We are all hands on deck as an agency, and to our credit, we've come a long way, but we understand that bad people still want to harm us as Americans.
You scheduled to have a hearing this week. The topic on global terrorism, threats to the homeland. Who did you invite to this hearing and who showed up?
Well, it was a full committee hearing. We had 4 witnesses. We had Brian Levin, we had Dr. Jocelyn, Mr. Sufan, individuals who pretty noted in their own field. And they gave a fairly sobering testimony to what our challenge as a country is. First of all, there are still people, both internationally and domestically, who want to do harm to us, so we have to be forever vigilant. But as important, they identified what some of us have come to believe, that we have as much to fear from domestic terrorists as we have international terrorists. So the FBI finally came out acknowledging that most of the domestic terrorist acts in this country are caused by right-wing extremists. So we will work diligently on that. They indicated Al-Qaeda, ISIS, all those international terrorist threats that we've come to know are still there. Many of them are not looking to claim territory. They are just claiming the hearts and minds of people and try to keep themselves going. So we have some real challenges. One of the real challenges is to make sure that those agencies that are tasked with that responsibility continue to do that and don't lose focus. We've had some challenges with this administration going it alone and not bringing members of Congress along with them. So we continue to work on that. The beauty of our committee is historically we have been bipartisan. I'm committed as chair to continue that bipartisan approach because we found that those persons who want to harm us don't ask party affiliation, they don't ask race, they don't ask gender, they just want to hurt Americans, and we have to keep it safe.
That hearing yesterday, did everybody that you invited to the hearing show up to testify?
Well, the disappointment was we initially, as a committee, have always been presented from a witness standpoint, the director of the FBI, the director of Homeland Security, and the head of the NCTC, National Counterterrorism Center. None of them showed. We were very disappointed. As you know, I indicated we're not a partisan committee, but one of the challenges working with the Trump administration is those members that we need to come before various committees are not really made available to us. We made inquiry early as July that here we are on the anniversary of 9/11. Ever since I've been on the committee, and I've been on the committee since it was created, we've always had that presentation by those top-level officials. They're now telling us that we can only come around the 30th of October. That is just not where it should be, it does not put the focus or the priority. And for the committee, on both sides, Democrats and Republicans voiced their absolute disappointment in their presence not being available for the committee hearing. We'll go forward. Our witnesses were excellent, but it did not give us the administrative position as to what's going on from a global terrorist standpoint.
Representative Thompson, because it deals with Homeland Security, your thoughts on the news concerning John Bolton?
Well, we announced it during the hearing. You know, we are playing musical chairs, so to speak, with national security. It's a keen position. It's a professional position. It should not be a political position. But we have a president who wants to do everything himself. 8 of the senior people in the Department of Homeland Security are acting. I've never seen that many acting people before, and it does not allow for sound administrative directions to come because those individuals don't really know from day in to day out whether or not they'll have a job, and they're waiting on some reference from the White House or some nod as to whether or not they can do what they want to do. So the John Bolton situation was a problem. Although many of us had disagreements with him, he was still there. But I'm more concerned now that what individual will now take that position who's really competent, who basically would see whether or not they'll last 6 months. So from a career standpoint, from the ability to get someone who could do the job professionally, I think the president will have serious difficulty.
Representative Bennie Thompson, Democrat from Mississippi. He serves as the chair of the Homeland Security Committee, joining us on this anniversary of 9/11. Representative Thompson, Chair Thompson, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.